here and let's just talk about the top fears that most people face, and they face these fears when they hit adulthood, right? So the fears we're going to be talking about today may not be the fears that your toddler may have. They may not be the fears that your kids have in school, right? But they, I can promise you, if you have hit adulthood, these fears you have seen. Maybe you have seen all the fears that I'm going to be talking about today. It's going to be four of them. So maybe you've experienced all four, like Queen A, right? I've experienced all four of these right here, and maybe you have not, right? But if you have, and this hits home for you, or you know somebody who's experiencing these fears, because I can tell you right now, either it's going to sound like you or it's going to sound like somebody you know, right? And you're going to want to share this video with them as well, because we're going to hit home. We're going to hit home. And not only am I going to give you the top four things that most adults fear throughout their adulthood, I'm also going to just splash in just something, one thing that I did to get over each one of those right here today. Okay? Now, before we move on, make sure that if you ain't already, you go ahead and you subscribe, hit that bell, and then make sure that you hit follow, or I think it's like all notifications or something like that, so you can see all my videos that I teach, so you won't miss out on this week, next week, because every week we drop tips on how you can help yourself become more confident. But we want to make sure that you're doing it with clarity, right? With clarity, all right? That's what we're about today. And the first thing I want to talk about is one of the ones that everybody experiences the first, which is usually family and friends. And the fear of, will they support you along the way? The fear of, will they support you being yourself? How many of y'all have experienced that? I know Queen A have. I know I have experienced that. And a lot of times when we experience them fears, what happens is it forces us sometimes to do things outside of the norm that you may not do if you didn't care about what they thought, right? So let's say another thing. Let's say if, like, just skipping school, right? No, whatever. Now think about these when it comes to family and friends. And let's go to adulthood, right? Because we ain't talking about kids. So when it comes to family and friends, so let's say all your friends around you, they have a certain field, or, and there's like, well, we're going to do this over here. You're going to go on vacation over here. And you don't really like that place. But everybody else just talking about how great it is. And maybe you've been there and you just don't even like it, right? But what happens is, with most adults, we tend to just follow the norm. We have that fear of saying that, you know what, I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. Or say if everybody, all your friends, they're joining a certain industry, right? They're in a certain business industry. And that may not be the industry for you. Maybe you want to be in the, I don't know, the welding field when all your friends are nurses, right? Or maybe you want to be a mechanic. I don't know. Maybe you want to be a speaker when everybody else is saying they want to be a nurse. But what happens is, for most adults, we tend to jump in the pool with everybody else, right? Right. You can't grow without being outside your comfort zone. I love that. Oh man. Now is that Bob's of Veta? Bob's Veta? I'm just going to say Veta. Did anybody get that right? All right. And then, don't let anyone bring you, right? Don't let anyone bring you down, okay? And that is the truth. So we have to learn how to just do it anyway. What is it you want to do? That's why the first thing is to step outside of that fear of what your family and friends think, is to think about what you value. What is it that you want to do? What are the principles that are most important to you? Not to your mom, not to your dad, not to your family, not to your friends, but to you. And so just do it anyway. The principles that align with you. Because I can tell you right now, most of the time, we're like, are they going to support my business when I start? And are they going to support this when I start? Just short answer, no. I did a short reel on that. So no, they're not going to be the first people to support you. And that's why we tend to have a lot of fear. Because when we start that new job, we so excited, and then you bring that new idea around family and friends, and what happens? Your excitement goes down, because most of them like, oh girl, you sure you can do that? Right? They start having all these different faces, or they're challenge you, or do you think you need to go to school for more time, or are you sure you can handle that? And then what happens is you start to second guess yourself without even realizing it. And that's a fear that most adults face throughout their life. And so one of the things that I learned was to just be like Nike and just do it anyway. I love the just do it thing. Right? Because it's all about your principles, your values. But you first have to know, what are your values? What are your principles? Because that is what's going to dictate which direction you go. All right? Now, that is the first thing. The second thing that most adults tend to fear in their lifetime, the second thing I'm about to tell y'all now. Y'all ready? Say now, yes. Okay, so Vetta said yes. Vet as in Corvette. Thank you, Corvette. Yes. Thank you. See, I did get something right. Right? So now the second one that people tend to be fearful of in their adulthood, and just let me know in the comments if you experienced this one. Relationship fear. Uh-oh. Somebody's feeling this. And what I mean by that, are they going to support you? Is this relationship even compatible for you, right? Do they hear me, right? Or maybe this is not, will my, significant other, will they support me if I, jump out of this job and jump into this one? Will they support me if I say, you know what, maybe, sweetie, I don't want to do a job. I want to start my own business, right? So that's another thing that we tend to do as adults. We tend to fear relationships in general, wondering if they are compatible for us. That's why a lot of times in our relationships, a lot of people, we stay in unhealthy relationships out of fear. Out of fear of, you know what, they'll get better, right? They'll get better, or we stay in an unhealthy situation but due to our relationship. Maybe it's a job you've been wanting to apply for, and your significant other just like, you know what, nah, I need you home, I need you to do X, Y, Z, and this and that. And instead of y'all coming together, because it's a together thing when it comes to relationships, right? And that's why a lot of people have fear, because nowadays a lot of relationships, they don't talk, they don't speak, they don't communicate. So one of the main things that you have to learn how to understand is that most adults face in their lifetime is fear of being in a relationship. Is it healthy for you? That is one of the things that most adults fear. Will my partner listen to me? Right? And that comes from out of communication. But these are things right there, right? And I really want to tell us, I really want to talk about that. And one of the things that I learned for me in my relationship, so let me just tell you, for me, so a lot of people don't know. So I am on a relationship journey in my life, right? So, hey, so one of the things that I want to talk to you all about when it comes to relationships is feeling single when you're in a relationship. So that is a big thing also when it comes to fear of relationships. A lot of people, like, for instance, for me, like, I was in a relationship for years out of the fear of, well, if I leave, am I going to find another significant other, right? If I leave, oh man, the fear of who is the other person going to be, just starting over in general. So it can be, as far as relationships, we can stay in unhealthy relationships just because we don't want to start over. And I want to tell you this, sometimes we have to understand what our values is, what our principles is, and understand what a healthy relationship is, and understand what an unhealthy relationship is, okay? And understand that it is okay to start over, if need be. But it's also okay to hold on, right? We have to understand when to hold on and when to let go. So one of the biggest fears for Queen A was, staying in a relationship because out of fear of starting over, out of fear of, will I find somebody who truly understands me? Out of fear of, is it just me? Am I just asking for too much because I want to communicate? Or is it just me? Oh man, I just want too much time. So I just feared, well, no man is going to want time, right? So these are things that I had to learn, even when it came to relationships. And if anybody out there has experienced that, let me know in the comments if that's you, because I have, right? And some of the things I want to tell you that how I did that is, got out of that, is I started following my gut. I started following my gut. Things that I have been feeling for a long time, I just knew wasn't right. Right? For instance, if we can't communicate, that's a red flag, right? With any relationship. I mean, communication is key. Time, if we can't spend time together, if we're spending months apart, then, especially for Queen A, I'm an affectionate person and I communicate that up front, right? So that's one of the things we have to understand. And that's very important, very important. So, Bob's Vetta said, I had that same issue with family members recommending not to take risks, but I took the risk and am doing what I love now, and the support from them follow. Yes, I love it. Yes, when you do it anyway, they will come, right? Now that goes back to that family and friends we was talking about earlier. So I love how she said that, because that's how it is for Queen A. My family and friends, they wasn't the first people to support me. Now it was a few of them that did, but for the most part, no. But once they start seeing everybody else and what I was doing, then they hopped on board, guys. So sometimes, people don't like to jump on board until something's popping. I don't know if y'all noticed that, all right? So do it anyway. So thank you for that. And then Hudson Brown said, she says she won't sell, but for that check, she just gone. What? Okay. I don't know what that is. We gonna remove that. We don't want no negative comments on here. I don't know what that is. You're just implementing your relationship trauma here. Stop sprinting. Okay. I don't. All right. So, now. I agree was in a relationship, she has so many red flags. Yes. And a lot of times we choose to ignore them. And y'all have to understand, what's for one person may not be for the other. And that is okay. That is perfectly fine. Right? So just understand, what's for you may be for you. And what's for somebody else may be for somebody else. And that is okay. We have to learn how to agree to disagree, right? Or disagree to agree. My bad. Y'all know how Queen A be. Y'all know my be all over the place. But y'all get it, right? Y'all got it. All right? So now, the third thing, and that's relationships. And I'll get off of that, because I see some people get a little sentimental about relationships. But that is the truth, guys. And it comes to anybody. And that even comes to me. Right? So y'all have to understand, I had to learn too, when it was in relationships, am I supportive enough? Because sometimes we ask, are they supportive enough? But are we supportive enough in our relationships, right? Will we understand if our partner wanted to leave and go somewhere else and do this? So sometimes we have to ask ourselves, would we want to do this? Will we do this? Put ourselves in that situation instead of saying, well, would they? Would they? Are they? What about am I? Am I supportive? Okay? So it goes that way as well. And the third one, which is the biggest one, and the reason why, if you look it up and do your statistics, most relationships fail, most families get into it, is ding ding, finances. Number 3, finances, okay? Finances and jobs. This is one of the biggest fears that adults face in their adulthood. Most people don't even like talking about finances. Most people don't even, it's scared to even look at their credit score, or even like Queen A. I was even in fear of even knowing how to fix my credit score. Yes, I was in fear of having good credit. Why? I don't know, because I was always raised and just believed that, hey, credit was not for me. I didn't have to worry about it. So every time somebody talked about, and I also, one of the sayings was, money is the root to all evil. So I would, I was grew up heavily in the church, and they was always say that. And I'm not religious now, by the way. So, but to those who are, do your thing, whatever. I'm more spiritual, but to each his own. Now, let me say this. Growing up in church, one of the main things was money is the root of all evil. So I can remember for the longest time, just out of that I was afraid to even make a lot of money. I was in fear of making a lot of money. I was in fear of holding jobs, or even applying for jobs if it, had a certain amount of income. Just because I'm like, oh my gosh, well, that's, because they're all, the roots, all, money is the root to all evil. And it's really not that. I had to learn that it's the love of money. When you love money more than you love yourself. I had to learn that. So fear of finances, or even the fear of even applying for an application. Am I qualified enough? Am I overqualified? Am I underqualified? Right? Am I applying for the job that I really want to be in? These are things that adults fear, right? We know we need to make more money, but we fear applying, most of us, for them jobs that pay. Say if a job paid $50 an hour, a lot of adults would just clench up out of fear because we don't understand it, right? We have that false sense of belief that we think that something there is going to cause us harm or is dangerous. That's what fear is. That's the definition. Look it up. And that's where I was at with it as well. You know, I was there as well until I realized that one of the things I had to understand was scared money don't make money. Okay? Scared money don't make money. I had to walk into that. Well, who said I can't qualify for that? Who said I can't be a coach? Who said I can't be a clarity coach? Let me see. These are things I just had to walk into. I had to step into fear. Because fear is what? A feeling or belief that someone or something is going to cause you harm or is dangerous. So I had to say, why do I have a fear of being a coach, or a clarity coach? Is it going to cause me harm? Is it going to be dangerous? And I had to ask myself, and I had to weigh the options. I don't see nothing dangerous there. I don't see nothing that's harmful there. If anything, I see a lot of benefit. I see a lot of growth. I see a lot of potential. I see a lot of ways that I can help others grow. That's what I had to learn how to do. But a lot of adults, we fear even making that analogy when it comes to finances and when it comes to a job, right? Because a lot of us feel like, nah, you know what? I've been on Section 8 my whole life. Who cares? I've been getting food stamps my whole life. Who cares, right? It's a mindset that we have been programmed to have, to where we are subconsciously even scared to step out and say, I don't want no food stamps. I can make it without Section 8. I can make it without this. I can make it without that. And I want y'all to understand, these are things that even Queen A experienced. So I'm talking these things out of experience. I'm talking these things out of being a recipient of these things, okay? So I've been there. I've been afraid to, you know what? Let me not live without, afraid of Section 8, afraid of this, afraid of that. I had to learn how to step out of that and do it anyway. So that's another one. Scared money don't make money. And then the last one that I want to talk to y'all about, number 4. Y'all see, I was like bruh man from the 5th floor. So, but number 4 is, so let's say I agree, was in a relationship. She had so many red flags. I chose to ignore those red flags, and I ended up regretting not ending it sooner. So I learned from that. I love it. I love it. Yes. We all live and we learn. And I think it's beneficial for both ends. So like even for me, like like right now, I'm looking for a relationship, right? But I'm very grateful and thankful for the relationships that I've had. They've taught me a lot. I don't regret anything. I don't, I'm not mad at nobody. I don't feel no type of way. I'm not holding no grudge. I don't want nothing to happen to them. No. I want them to find their person for them. And that's another thing we're scared to do. Yes, it's okay, because maybe it was me, right? Maybe I just wasn't the person for them. We have to understand that people are on different levels. So maybe I was on this level and they was on this level, or maybe I was on this level and they was on this one, but whatever the case may be. All right? And then gotta head out, have a blessed. Oh, thank you for joining. It was great. I hope to see you again next Monday. Get my days mixed up. So yes, that's a blessing. But number 4 is health. Okay? So health. Most adults fear even going to the doctor to get a checkup. Yeah. Let that sit in for a minute. We ain't talking about little kids. We talking about adults who are literally scared to go and get a checkup because they don't want to hear that word that, you have cancer, you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have, whatever it may be. But one of the things we do is we scared to go, but we do nothing to prevent from when we go from anything being present. Right? What if we didn't have to worry about or be in fear of going because we was living correctly, we was eating healthy, we was doing the things we were supposed to do to take care of our body? If that was the case, guess what? What do you think would happen? You would be walking in that doctor's office proud, right? When you know that you're in great shape and you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do, don't you walk in the doctor's office proud or walk anywhere proud for that moment like, yeah, it's me, Queen A, yeah, you see it. Right? That's just how it is. But on the flip side, if you know that you haven't been taking care of yourself, what happens? I ain't gonna say nothing, but people start ignoring stuff. I ain't gonna tell nobody else. Hey, they start, it's like, nah, I'm just kidding though. But no, that's what happens. You start ignoring it, right? You don't want to go because you already know internally that you haven't been doing what you need to do in order to progress. That's why. Nobody healthy is scared to go to the doctor. If anything, people healthy are scared for them to treat them, but we're not scared to go to the doctor, right? We want to let you diagnose us and let us treat ourselves. So, with that being said, when you're in fear of something, you think that it's going to cause you harm or it's dangerous, but that is because when it comes to health, you're subconsciously, you already are aware that something is off. Meaning, whether you think like, I've been drinking too much pop, all them chips I've been eating, that family barbecue, oh my God, this summer, oh man, I was just eating all that cake, birthday, so much, right? So, I want y'all to understand this, that these are the 4 things that gets us. And with health, how I did it is, I want y'all to understand this and take this real, listen to this very closely when I say this here, because I'm going to lean up here, okay? You are what you eat, whether you believe it or not. Matter of fact, say it with me, y'all. Say it with me. Repeat after me. Say, I am what I eat, whether I believe it or not. Okay? One more time. I am what I eat, whether I believe it or not. Now, the reason why I say this is because belief is so important. Because if you don't believe that the things you're eating is going to help you get healthy, it won't. Our mind is so much more powerful than you can ever imagine. That's why they have placebo effects and things of that nature, because of our mind. It's not because of your body. It's not the physical aspect. It's the internal. It's the internal that perceives everything. So that's why it's important for you to believe that you can get healthy without medicine. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not none of that. I don't proclaim to be any of that. I'm a clarity coach first, a mother, and nothing more. But what I will tell you is, coming from somebody who had high blood pressure all day life, taking 2 blood pressure pills that the doctor said I was going to be taking for the rest of my life. And I took them since I was 14, all the way up until I was like 30. And it wasn't until I did my research myself. And you go back, I have a video of this in my old videos. And what I did was, I just did what the universe wanted us to do anyway. And that's what we have to get back to, believing that the universe, that the nature is our healer. Okay? Now that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all got something from this. Make sure that y'all sharing this video. Make sure that y'all subscribe. Also, make sure go ahead to my bio, check out my website. We have I do have offer clarity guides in there, right? Now my clarity guides, they are 30-day clarity guides. These guides is going to help you pinpoint the top 3 priorities you want to work on for the next 30 days. What is it that you need to work even for as eating? What do you want to eat for healthy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? You know? And what are your priorities? Affirmations for yourself, you know? And then check it out. Progress. You know, see your progress. And if you miss a day, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up, right? Another day. And make sure that you are subscribed, you're following. Also, I am on Facebook as well at Queen A Your Clarity Coach, and TikTok on Queen A Speaks. Okay, and feel free to check out any of my products, my books. Everything that I went over today is in my book, my Clarity and Confidence books. The link is in the bio. And if nobody else loves you, you know Queen A does. Later. See y'all next week, 2 p.m. I know I was late, but 2 p.m. next week later.